And 1/3 of Pakistan right now is underwater from floods. Think about that. Pakistan's a big country. It's, it's part of the world. It's basically 1/3 of Pakistan is about the size of Colorado. Excuse me. And it's easy to think of Colorado as a small state, but only when you look at a map of the entire United States. I have driven across Colorado. It is a big state. And that's just the part that's underwater. Flash floods now have killed over 1,000 people, which again doesn't sound like a lot of people given Pakistan, the size and population of Pakistan. 220 million people are in Pakistan. But it is, number one, no doubt, a massive underestimate of what's actually going on and the number of people whose lives have been destroyed and whose homes have been destroyed and have essentially lost everything. Number one. And number two, as the floods recede, and presumably and hopefully they will, although the monsoon season is not completely over, we will find that the death toll is probably going to be in the tens or hundreds of thousands. And also any kind of water purification systems, wells, food systems. I mean, the thing that comes after things like this, after flooding like this, which destroys the infrastructure. People have lost their homes, they've lost their businesses, they've lost everything. And what comes after that is famine and disease. And that's going to kill, I'm predicting, hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of Pakistanis. And this has not yet begun to hit Bangladesh. I mean, it is hitting Bangladesh and India. Both of them are suffering from severe weather, but nothing like Pakistan right now. 1/3 of the country is underwater. In the southeastern province of Sindh, one state in Pakistan, they had 67 inches of rain in one day. I mean, just imagine that. We think that 10 inches of rain in a day or 5 inches of rain in a day is flood level here in the United States. It's a massive amount of rain. But in 67 inches in a day, there's just no way you can deal with that. There's no place for it to go. But we're starting to see this all around the world, and there's a simple reason why. The atmosphere is 1.5 degrees warmer right now than it was when Ronald Reagan came into office. And for every degree of warmer temperature, the air can hold about 4% more moisture. And when it releases that moisture, boom, down it comes. And it's not just 4% more. What we're looking at are 100% increases in some places in the amount of water coming down. We had last week, you had flash floods in Dallas-Fort Worth. St. Louis last month got wiped out. Kentucky, dozens of people were killed in eastern Kentucky with flooding. Australia just had 28 inches of rain in one state in 1 month, in a state that rarely gets any rain this time of year. In South Korea, it's torn up parts of the capital, Seoul. Last year, massive floods killed more than 150 people in Europe. I mean, right now they're experiencing drought, but pretty soon the rains are going to begin and they're going to start experiencing floods. This is A, major crisis, but B, it raises an interesting question. And that is, given that what is causing this is global warming, and that what is causing global warming is the worldwide use of fossil fuels, and the reason that we have worldwide use of fossil fuels instead of renewable energy is that in the 1970s and 80s, when this became widely known among the scientists who worked for and the senior executives of America's largest or the world's largest oil companies, as well as the gas and coal companies. These guys knew 40, 50 years ago that this was coming. The guys who knew it are all dead now or retired, but they knew this was coming. Their companies knew it was coming. The United States is the largest emitter of greenhouse gases in the world. Pakistan is one of the smallest emitters of greenhouse gases in the world. Do we owe something to Pakistan for causing this terrible disaster? I mean, if you came into my neighborhood and started burning down houses, there would be some liability for that. We're burning down Pakistan. or flooding them. Have we no liability? And not we, the United States, although, obviously Pakistan is reaching out to the international community through the United Nations right now, begging for help. But the oil companies just had the largest profits ever. I mean, Pakistan is begging for $2 or $3 billion out of, which would go a long way in Pakistan, out of the United Nations. You had Shell and ExxonMobil and Chevron. I mean, just in the last quarter, these companies showed tens of billions of dollars in leftover money, in profits. Should some of the profits of these companies be going to make whole the people here in the United States, in Kentucky, in Dallas, in St. Louis, across the United States and around the world, particularly in very poor countries that did not contribute to this climate change crisis? I mean, they're still burning trees and charcoal in Pakistan. Should our companies be anteing up? I think so.